everything you got, one play at a time.
This is crunch time, and we got to go out there and perform.
Let's go, finish it! Finish it!
Backs against the wall, and we have to win to get in.
You just got to get a chance. Once you make it to the playoffs, that's when you have your opportunity to make a run.
This is what we're capable of. Nothing less is going to be acceptable.
We got to keep going! Let's go!
If you gave up 5-6 weeks ago, we don't even want you on our side.
Nobody thought we was going to be where we are right now. We just going to keep going, man. Just keep going.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. We made it. You know, for some reason, I was waking up this morning hoping that everything would be completely different somehow. It didn't happen, but bottom line is we made it to the new year, and that is the good news. So with that, welcome into the very first take of 2021. Pleasure to be here with each and every one of you. My name is Charlie Arnold. We got three very talented men on the roster for today. We have Ryan Clark, Dominique Foxworth, also Rob Ninkovich. So guys, Happy New Year. Let's get things started, because I think the only real way to kick off 2021 is to maybe look back on what happened in 2020, because a whole lot happened. We had several champions crowned, and two of them were crowned in very, very different environments. Back in February at a packed Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs to a Super Bowl victory. And then we're going to fast forward to August in the ultra-secure Orlando bubble. LeBron James steering the LA Lakers to an NBA championship. So, Dom, who would you say is the MVP of 2020 sports? Is it LeBron James or is it Patrick Mahomes?
Well, before we get to that, can I see a split screen with my man Ryan Clark, because he looks phenomenal today. It's a purple tuxedo. That's fantastic. That's beautiful. Yeah. What is that, velvet? That is fantastic. Is that velvet?
Hey, man, you just know how to come on
break out the best,
man, for the start of 2021.
I love it. But anyway, I guess to the question, I was leaning towards LeBron, and I'm switching over to Patrick Mahomes, because if you think about what he's done in 2020, it's been outstanding. He's only lost one game. That was to the Raiders in 2020, and that was a game that he played well, and he scored a lot of points, so they could have won that. But to go an entire calendar year with only losing one game is incredible. At one point, he was the reigning MVP of the league and the Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP. And if you look back at what he did at the beginning of this year in January and last year's playoffs and Super Bowl, it was outstanding. And I know RC likes to innovate and talk about arm arrogance as a new way to measure things, but I'm going to introduce my own scale to measure things. So I'm going to go with the church lady scale of achievement. That's what I'm using. Are you ready for this, RC? So in the first round of the playoffs, they were in the divisional round of the playoffs, and they had a 2% chance of winning in the second quarter when they were down 24-0 to the Texans, I think it was. And they came back and won. And you know what a church lady would say to that? Okay, got my attention. Okay, when I showed up to Easter with my nice suit, they would say, okay. And then in the next round, they were the second quarter, and they had a 20% chance of winning when they were getting jumped on by the Titans. Mm-hmm. And he came back and won that game again. You know what that gets? That gets a gone head with your bad self. That's when you come back the next Sunday, your suit is still fresh, they hit you with a gone head. And then in a Super Bowl, he topped all of that. He was down and late in the fourth quarter. 9 minutes left. They had a 4% win probability. And you know what? They won. And he put that team on his back, made some amazing throws, and then he got the peak compliment that you could ever get from a church lady. You better tell him. It's all about the you. You better tell him. And that's what he did. He told all of us that he is the man in this league. He took over. And I love LeBron and everything he does. I know the off the field and off the court stuff matters too. And Patrick Mahomes is somebody who started to get involved in that a little bit more often. He helped lead voting initiatives in Kansas City. He also lent his face and his name to the Black Lives Matter movement when they came for Roger Goodell and forced the NFL to make some concessions and take this stuff more seriously. So I think it's hard. If Patrick Mahomes can't get it this year, only losing one game and getting to the very peak of my scale, you better tell him. Then what else can you do?
Well, listen, Sister Tyson in my church, the head deaconess, would sit in the front row and she would say, "Preach, preacher." And then once I would get to the front and I would start to speak and I would have to welcome everybody to the regular Baptist church, know what she'd say? Let him use you. And that's what LeBron James has done for the world. He's let us use him. I think sometimes, eventually, Patrick Mahomes is going to get to that point, right? To where everything he does, we kind of get desensitized to it. That he's going to roll to his left and throw it back across to the right side of the field. And we're going to say, oh my goodness, that would have been cool like 15 years ago, but we've seen you do it a ton of times. And that's where we've gotten with LeBron. Now, we got to think back to what this season and this NBA season this year was for us. We lost Kobe Bryant in January. LeBron was a part of that. LeBron was one of the people that spoke up on behalf of Kobe Bryant and his family. He showed love to them. He was one of the people who had to carry on a torch of the LA Laker greats while losing one of their greats. That's an extremely difficult thing to do. He did it with grace. He did it with class. He did it in the way that Kobe Bryant would have been proud. Now, that's near and dear to me because Kobe Bryant's my favorite basketball player of all time. And it was awesome that he continued to keep his memory alive through the way that he plays. Now, let's think about the season for the NBA. The NBA season is postponed. They have to come back and play in the bubble. LeBron James is the guy that's played in front of packed arenas his whole life, since 16, 17 years old. You got Dickie V going to his high school games to see him play against Oak Hill. Now he's playing in this environment where he doesn't have his family, where he doesn't have the fans, where it's quiet, where guys like Devin Booker, where we can see other basketball players who aren't necessarily the type of stars that LeBron James is, play in the gym where the wall is close behind the basketball goal, so the depth perception is better. We see some of these guys have shooting performances like we've never seen, the Dame Lillards, but guess what? It don't matter because it's LeBron. And even though he won't win the MVP during the season because we want to give it to other people, he's still the finals MVP. He still never goes to a game 7. Now let's talk about the more than the vote, right? The more than the athlete. And also we can even think about Patrick Mahomes. Here is why LeBron James is the greatest athlete of this time. Here's why LeBron James is the overall MVP. Did Patrick Mahomes or did LeBron James show up to do Patrick Mahomes' show? Or was Patrick Mahomes a member and a guest of LeBron James' show? He was. He was on the barbershop. LeBron James allowed him to come talk. You know who else was on the barbershop? President Barack Obama. Listen, when LeBron James is talking and he gets to say, I am blessed to call you a friend, and you're talking to my forever president, Mr. President, President Barack Obama, you the man, bro. And so with all that LeBron James accomplished on the court, with everything that he accomplished off the court in one of the more difficult NBA seasons and winning one of the more difficult NBA championships in the history of the sport, LeBron James is the MVP, and it's not even close. I just appreciate you being a true teammate, the same way Sister Tyson would, the same way Deacon Brown would, and taking the other side of this argument in the argument you knew you couldn't win. That's how 2021 is supposed to start.
Settle this, Rob.
RC,
Settle.
hey, RC, listen, I'm hearing everything you're saying. I agree with you. Yes, LeBron is he's the greatest basketball player that look, I'm an MJ kid, so I
Don't
grew
you say
up
it all the time.
back in the 90s. I'm not saying all the
Yeah, I
time.
was waiting
I'm
for
saying
that.
he's the greatest of the modern basketball that we watch right
Yes.
now, LeBron, the last 10, 15 years. Okay, so, but I will say, as far as desensing the skill sets, we are already doing that with Patrick Mahomes. He has 38 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions. And we're talking about Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers as the MVPs of the league. What are we talking about? We have our MVP in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, the things that he is able to do this year alone, he should go back-to-back MVP. You talk about Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he's had a great year. Aaron Rodgers is great. You talk about Josh Allen. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. He's doing really good. But when you think about what Patrick Mahomes is doing, they potentially could go back-to-back Super Bowl championships. And I know you don't want to hear it, but I know the last team to do it was the Patriots with Tom Brady. So I know you all don't want to hear it. But I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is my MVP because only losing one football game, the statistics that he's putting up this year are beating his stats from last year, and nobody's really talking about it. Why? Because we're desensitized to that, to his greatness. So, how many touchdown passes? Oh, Pat Mahomes, he only threw 4. Like, he is so good that we expect him to be that good every single game. And guess what? He is that good, and he's continuing to do that. So I gotta go with Patrick Mahomes.
Guys.
You better preach, Pastor.
Bro, I'm actually shocked that you two are making this argument. I understand it's football season, but basketball season started too. And no man in the world flips the fortunes of organizations like LeBron does. He's not only the best player in the world, he's the best agent. He took his homeboy. His homeboy's the greatest agent in basketball, and they build their own teams. He built the Lakers, not Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka gets to say that he's a part of it. LeBron James is the 2020 MVP, and it's not even close. And for you two to sit up here and
You're not gonna get me to disrespect LeBron James. Hold on, Rob. Let me get in here. You're not gonna get me to disrespect LeBron James. I think he is very good. Everything he's done is fantastic. I even go back to the players, not just him. He's given more power to all players across sport. He is a model.
I'm a star, shining brightest in the darkest times. I'm a star, twinkle, twinkle, bring the sparkle in, light your world up. Yeah, let your world